How's it going? I definitely want to thank everybody who checked out and gave their opinions and their thoughts of my NBA lockout video. I really appreciate that. Seeing that we're a couple weeks into the lockout makes a perfect time to talk about this subject that's on hand, that's really been talked about recently over these past couple of weeks, about the NBA players thinking about playing overseas. And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? To me, honestly, it's a kind of up in the air situation, because yes, they're going to be competitors, and when you want to go compete, you can't keep athletes and top flight and high competitors down of, okay, well, there's nothing else to do, so what are we going to do? They're going to try to find their ways to do the thing that they love to do, even if it's playing in the playground, if it's playing in one of like the Drew League or the Rucker Park League or something like that, or even if it is going overseas and playing with these top flight, these Italian leagues, these Spanish league teams, the Greek teams, the teams in China, the teams in Russia, all these other teams that are leagues all over the world. And it wouldn't be a drop off, and there will be a drop off in talent, but it wouldn't be a huge big drop off in talent where these overseas guys can definitely play. And it's not going to be like a regular walk in the park type of game that you get in a regular pickup game. Everybody's saying that, well, it's not really good because now you're bringing our stars and our players and you're bringing them over there. But if you actually heard David Stern, one of his main goals is definitely to make the NBA a global brand, just like how soccer is. Not to the height and level of soccer, but how the NFL started to play some games over in when they had NFL Europe, and then they ceased, and then the NFL went back and said, we're going to bring a regular season game in England, or we're going to have one in Mexico, and it just to broaden the horizons of showing everybody football and basketball, and David Stern wants to do the same way. And this is kind of a win-win situation for him, because it's your players are playing and they're making even though the NBA is in a lockout situation right now, your brand of, oh, this is the NBA player, oh, they play basketball in America, and this and that, which is perfect for him. The difference is, like I already said from before, the competition level is definitely not like how the NFL is in a lockout right now, and guys decide to say, oh, I'm going to go play in the Canadian League, or I'm going to go play in the Arena Football League. That's football, but it's not top flight. It's not the best caliber of football around. Even though that's what we have right now in North America, that's not the type of brand of football. That's not a high level type of playing field known as football-wise. You already got players such as Darren Williams, the biggest star so far, the biggest name out, that already signed to a Turkish league. He said if the NBA lockout situation isn't finished in the fall, he's gone. He's gonna go play in the Turkish league, and with one of I forgot the name of the Turkish league right now, but it's one of the highest, best teams in the world that's not NBA included. This Turkish team. He had to do his research, because the thing is, if they get hurt, the NBA players get hurt, their contracts are going to be voided, percentage is going to be taken off. So Darren Williams had to make sure that, and these players got to make sure that, okay, I have insurance, and the insurance was covered, because these players aren't stupid. They knew this lockout was coming 2-3 years ago. They did their due diligence. They just made sure that everything was taken care of, just in case this lockout did in fact happen and did go on into the season. Another thing is I kind of think that the players are using this as a leverage for the upcoming collective bargaining agreement, just the talks, because saying if you guys decide to lock us out, we're just gonna go play somewhere else. Yes, you're gonna void our contracts, or our contracts are gonna turn not to be guaranteed. But the fact of the matter is, I'm gonna go play something I love to do, and since you're stopping me, I'll go play somewhere else and play. So now it's going to come back to the owners. Well, do I want my star player to be hurt, and now I can't re-sign him, or I can't have him, or that's taking time? His legs are going to be tired when he decides to come back. which is all fun and which is all nerve-wracking whatsoever. But you also had other players, some not star players, but you had Sonny Weems say he was going. Naynard Critches is going back to his old team. And it's not like these NBA players, a lot of these kids, when they come into the draft and they don't get drafted, that's the first place they head off to, is they head overseas and they go play basketball there. So it's not like, oh, Darren Williams is making the first big step in NBA of bringing the NBA to a global reach. No, there's been college kids that didn't make it into the pros and they played overseas if they didn't get into the D League. Which in my opinion, that the European leagues out overseas are better than the D leagues right now, just because of the competition. You had players like Rudy Fernandez who's rejected it. Carmelo's thinking about it. Amari was thinking about it. Then he recently came out and tweeted saying that he's going to stay in the States. His loyalty is with the Knicks and the NBA. So it's kind of a tricky situation. So I just wanted to know what you guys thought about. How do you feel about NBA players coming through, going during the lockout? If the lockout goes into the season, them going overseas. I don't have a problem with it because, like I said earlier, you can't. They're athletes. They're competitors. They're gonna want to compete. Darren Williams said he wants to compete. He doesn't want to sit around and just talk. He wants to play basketball on a high level, where he can, you know what I'm saying, he can run up and down the court and whatever, and just do something that he's loved to do. Also, another big thing I think is after a while, do you end up getting homesick? Because, you know, you're in Istanbul, or you're in Greece, beautiful cities. You're in Milan, you're in Rome, you're in these beautiful cities, but at the end of the day, there's a culture barrier, and it's okay. It's basketball, then go here, and then what else? Darren Williams is bringing his family, so he's already fine with that. He knows his family's going to be with him. It's not going to be weird for him. It's going to be weird at first because, you know, different culture, different language, different people. But he's going to have his family with him, so that's going to be fine. But I want to know how Brandon Jennings said he didn't like it overseas, or how Jeremy Tyler said he didn't like it overseas because, yes, he's a young kid, but at the end of the day, there was no connection to other people. Not that he couldn't even really connect with his teammates. So it was kind of like, I just want to get out of here. And you got to think, will these players actually end up saying, I just want to go home, even though I just want to go home and come back to the States? But that's all I wanted to talk about. But one also thing, breaking news that I wanted to definitely bring out, I was talking about it on Twitter and Facebook recently. I've been able to confirm in a couple of days, and so like a week or two, Kobe Bryant will accept the contract and will play in the China League. Let me repeat this. Kobe Bryant will play in the China League. He just had to do a couple of due diligence things that has to do with insurance and everything. But as soon as that get locked up, I'll say in a week or two, the announcement will come out. I've been able to confirm it. So, as I said, breaking news, Kobe Bryant will be playing basketball in the China League if the NBA lockout goes on into the season. I want to thank you guys. You can place your comments below. Like the video, subscribe to it, spread it all over. Just trying to get you guys